Hey, welcome to Stream of Blood. I am your host, Jared Logan. This is a streaming show where we play tabletop role-playing games. We play all kinds of tabletop role-playing games. The only uniting theme is violence and mayhem. We are here to give you a little entertainment during your quarantine and beyond. We're so happy you've joined us tonight. Tonight, we are playing part 3 of our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition game, Vampires of Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh, a city known for its gothic horror. I've been there. It's a little bit horrific, but not as much as it used to be. Anyway, I have some great players here to play the game, the same people we had in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So let me bring them into the game right now. This first guy, you may have seen him on Silicon Valley. He also has a Netflix special where he does improv with his friend that's truly incredible, Middleditch and Schwartz. Please welcome, as the crusty old Union guy, Miles Vanderbuck, it's Thomas Middleditch, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Always.
Drinking the blood. The blood is life.
The blood is life. Gotta have that blood. I've got my vampiric filter on.
Right, yes.
Cool blue.
Yes, you are devoid of the blush of blood right now, but you're filling up, so you'll get pinker as the game goes on.
I gotta get pink. You know me.
Yeah. Get pink. That's actually hashtag get pink. Everybody in the chat or anybody watching,
Trending.
Make sure to put it all over the internet. Hashtag get pink. Okay, let me bring our next player. This guy, man, he's in my normal Dungeons and Dragons group along with Thomas, and he is just an incredible role player. He's always the MVP of every game we play.
Whoa.
I mean,
know. I mean, sometimes it
yeah, well, no, it's different people, but mainly it's him. And he's an incredible comedian, improviser, performer. Please welcome Ross Bryant.
Oh, hello.
See, I told you. You see that extra level. What is that book you have there?
Oh, just reading the Black Arts as I do every night of an evening.
Wow. Do you know any magic?
I randomly opened to a page about the Tetragrammaton, just in case you want to draw a sigil on the ground and conjure the evil ones.
The old Tetragrammaton, that old saw.
Yeah. Hashtag get pink.
Yeah. Hashtag get pink, everybody. And you're playing Curtis Krieger, the disgruntled and drug-addled war vet, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What do you think is going to happen to Curtis tonight? Do you think he's going to make bad decisions or good decisions?
I think he's going to make desperate decisions.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah. If everybody feels desperate, I'm doing my job as a storyteller / game master.
Yeah.
Let me bring your final player into the game with us. She is fantastic. She's an actress. She's on the show Mythic Quest. She does a lot of these kind of streams and is a experienced tabletop role player. And her character is my favorite in this game. Sorry, guys. She plays Jen Brown, the young tech company owner, the vampire who is afraid of the sight of blood. She wants to vomit when she sees blood. It's a tough disadvantage for a vampire, but this actress makes it work. Please welcome Ashly Burch, everybody. Hashtag get pink.
Hi.
Yeah.
I had a pink pen, and I did it in purple. God damn it. It's
well,
fine.
We'll get it right next week when we're still pushing the hashtag get pink. By the way, tonight's vampire game is brought to you by the Susan G. Komen Foundation. I think that's what pink means. It symbolizes breast cancer awareness, which we're all about here. But we are also about vampires and darkness and violence and mayhem. So I'm going to do our quick recap. In the first 2 chapters of Vampires of Pittsburgh, our 3 vampires, Miles Vanderbuck, Curtis Krieger, and Jen Brown, were embraced by anarchs who were secretly trying to build a movement of new vampires to combat the entrenched traditional vampires in the city, who are part of a sect called the Camarilla. Well, the Camarilla put a stop to that. They killed the Anarchs. They captured these three. They brought them into the Camarille's headquarters at the U.S. Steel Building, and these guys were given a crash course in what it means to be a vampire, taught the secrets of kindred society. That's what the vampires call themselves. And then they were faced with, to cut to the chase, they were faced with the choice. Would they join the Camarilla or would they become Anarchs? And this was all decided in a moment, in a flash, when Curtis Krieger decided to push an Anarch vampire who offered them a final chance to join the movement out of a 63rd story window. That vampire that he vamp murdered had previously, they think, murdered the prince of the city in the same fashion. And in chapter 2, our players were accused of this crime. Again, cutting to the chase, they managed to clear their names in a really cool vampire trial where everybody wore creepy animal masks. But the Ventru Archon, who had come to the city to try them, has found them not guilty because they came up with a great defense strategy. The three vampires here implicated Nixon and Bex, the two jailers who had kind of been on guard over our vampire PCs the whole time. Because they had disappeared mysteriously during the whole fracas with the murdering of the prince, and their whereabouts are still a bit of a mystery, but it did get our vampire players out of trouble by kind of implicating them. And now we begin, literally minutes after the final moment of the game, when the players found out that the new prince of the city was Miles's adopted vampire master, vampire sire. She has adopted him officially into the Camarilla. Her name is Adelaide Ross, and she has become prince of the city. So moments later, we find our players in a conference room. We know there are many up here in the U.S. Steel Building. They spent a couple days in one and ripped some people apart in a conference room in the last chapter. Now that's all over. You're in a different conference room, the big one, the auditorium one that they used for their big meetings. And maybe you guys want to talk about what's happened, or kind of tell us where your characters are at right now psychologically. What are you thinking? We can start with let's start with Jen. Where is Jen at right now?
So presumably, because we all were sort of adopted by different vampires, right?
That's right. Yes, Jen Brown was adopted by a Miss Sonia, the strange, secretive Nosferatu vampire. That Nosferatu means she's from a clan that looks dead and disgusting and hideous. Right. And so they're still, we're all in the same space still, right? So I think I'm sort of thinking we're not going to be able to go free. All I want is to desperately get out of here as quickly as possible. Yeah. But I'm guessing that we can't just walk out the doors just because our names are cleared. We're still beholden to our masters. Well, that's really, you've thought it out well. And I will say this, does Jen say anything about this to the other guys? Does she talk about getting free or escaping, or does she keep it to herself? I think she is sort of musing out loud about it a little bit, and sort of trying to see if they're on the same page, or if Miles seems to have really bought into the whole vampire thing. He seems to be digging it, so she's a little nervous, maybe more toward Curtis than Miles, but sort of trying to gauge whether or not they're planning on where their heads are at. Well, I'll say this. I think this is what happens. I think that you're kind of discussing it with them, and you're saying, do you think that they'll let us go free? And at that moment, a big door opens, and the Ventru Archon, who is still in his weird ibis mask, he pulls it off and he goes, "We're letting you go free." But he's got the prince behind him, who is now Adelaide Ross, and several of the other higher-ranking primogen in the city behind him, and he goes, "But there is a catch." And he walks into the room and he sets his mask down on the big, black, very expensive table that's located in here. You know, it looks like you couldn't move it. It was put in when the building was built. The catch is, you are being sent back into the city with the express mission of finding out who these anarchs are, who is leading them. And then you will tell us and help us plan a raid that will destroy all of them. You will check in with the prince once a week. These are the terms of your release. Do you agree?
Yes.
She turns to Miles. He turns to Miles.
I guess we got no choice. If I say no, what are you going to do?
You will be destroyed.
Yeah.
Of course he will. Look, in situations like this, I usually find it's best to just say, sir, yes, sir.
He goes, very well. My work is done here. I leave you in the capable hands of your adopted sires. Oh, one last thing. He turns back before he goes out the door. He goes, we're keeping Nixon for questioning. He'll remain paralyzed as long as the stake stays inside of his heart.
Well, hang on now. Just wait a minute. We're supposed to go find these anarchists in the city of Pittsburgh in a whole underground world of goddamn vampires. Where the hell are we supposed to start looking? Son of a bitch!
You're an impetuous one, aren't you? He says, I was just about to tell you where to start looking.
It just looked like you were leaving, that's all.
That's why I turned back dramatically.
All right.
He says, Nixon's partner, Bex, disappeared during the trial. She might be a good place to start. And he walks out. And then Adelaide Ross walks in and she's like, well, he's fun, isn't he?
Miles immediately cools. Something about this lady he just doesn't like.
Yeah?
Even though she's his boss.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, now it looks like you say, you have no choice. She and the other Primogen walk in. So Churchwell Jackson is there. That's your adopted sire, Curtis. He's the sheriff of the city and a gangrel. We haven't really talked about the clans very much, but here's an opportunity. So basically, they tell you that you're being released into the city and that you will need a place to live and hunt. So you have to now decide where they are going to place you within the city. And they offer up 3 hunting grounds that are available to you that you can choose between. There are 3 neighborhoods here in Pittsburgh that are currently tenanted, and a coterie of vampires like yourselves could make a haven there. The first neighborhood that Adelaide offers up is a neighborhood called Larimer. Yes, Larimer. It's there in red. Larimer is one of the poorest neighborhoods in Pittsburgh. There are tons of empty, boarded-up houses. There's a likely haven there, a big, boarded-up, abandoned Catholic church called Our Lady Help of Christians. There have been anarch nests here found repeatedly over the last 10 years. So it's a good place to start a hunt for anarchs. It borders on Shady Side, a hip and trendy redeveloped neighborhood with tons of bars and nightlife. But she goes, but don't feed there. That's not yours. Then they start talking about your second choice. There is a very small domain in the city called Mexican War Streets. This is actually the name of this small neighborhood, Mexican War Streets. It's a neighborhood in decline that has become popular with artists. They take advantage of the low rents and then cover the streets with graffiti and weird art projects. It's a nicer place to live than Larimer, but you're not alive. There's probably less prey and more eyes on you here. So less people, but more people kind of walking around and looking around. And this is formerly Nixon's hunting grounds, but he won't be using it anymore. There have been signs and rumors that a high-level anarch also has a haven here, and Nixon was supposedly trying to sniff him out. You could take over Nixon's old haven. By the way, just to be clear, a haven is a vampire's headquarters where they feel safe sleeping at night, that they won't be disturbed. You can take over Nixon's old haven. There's an old mattress factory here that was abandoned decades ago. And finally, one last place that might be a good place to start looking and where they could place you in the city. It's Southside. Southside is a really large neighborhood, actually, and it's full of bars, lots of dive bars, lots of foot traffic, active nightlife. Now, that sounds great, but the rub is that you'll have to share it with 2 other coteries that they've placed here. They theorize that the anarchs poach here regularly, and there have been lots of claims of hauntings and paranormal activity in the area. So we're placing the 3 coteries here because the herd here can sustain all of you. And when anarchs are spotted, you guys could join forces and most likely overwhelm and detain them. But there are no likely havens here. You'll have to rent an apartment or something. So those are the 3 choices they put in front of you. And you guys are natives to the city, so you might have opinions or you might have questions. Let me know.
Can we not just go home?
Your adopted sire, Miss Sonia, steps forward and goes, I'm afraid that's out of the question, my dear. In fact, the second... well, your lives are over. Any attempt to live a normal life after the gift that you have been given will likely end in a horrible tragedy.
I'm a prominent figure. If I just go missing.
Yes, well, that's the second item on our list of business for today. We are going to fake your deaths over the next 2 weeks. We can place bodies in the appropriate places that look like you, falsify forensics reports, and put obituaries in the paper. We can stagger them out so you don't all die at once. And then Adelaide Ross is like, and all of this is very expensive, so you can see we're really investing in you.
Doesn't seem like there's a quick, clean way out, does it?
If Jen sort of sits down and looks at the floor.
Oh, go ahead.
And I also don't know it has to be so expensive for me. I don't know how many people would miss me showing up.
Well, it doesn't hurt to be careful, does it? Look, the Masquerade demands that you all die. At least your mortal selves die. It's the only way that we can prevent the chance that people would sniff out that you're kindred, and then hunters would come calling. Now, if people feel strongly against this, very strongly against this, they can make an argument.
I think Miles would point to, or I guess there's not a map. We had a map.
There's a map. There's a map.
Okay.
Yeah,
Miles
there's a map on the table now.
I don't know what this neighborhood that Miles is going to reference is, because I'm not that familiar with Pittsburgh. But Miles
I was hoping I really asked you guys before you played. You have to be intimately familiar with Pittsburgh.
I've been reading the
I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, the other guys did the research. Go ahead, Thomas.
Okay, sorry. I'll look up the Lonely Planet right now. Anyway, he goes, well,
why do we have to choose all these? Some of these neighborhoods with the folks that are hard up. Why don't we go
there, and he points to a very affluent neighborhood.
If anyone needs to get their blood drained, it's these folks.
She says, well, that will not work. And the reason is that because that is already the domain of other kindred. It is against the traditions to enter another kindred's domain without express permission. These are the rules that allow our society to function. Do you understand?
God damn it.
Look,
then
I don't
find the
have to
third
stay at the apartment, but can I just go back at least just one more time before you fake my death?
Miss Sonia kind of like looks at you like she's upset with you, but she's very subtle about it. Her eyes just get very, she looks kind of like an old fortune teller, and she's just like, But Adelaide Ross goes, fine, why not? I'm going to start a new reputation. I'm the prince that's a little more loosey-goosey.
She's a boss, but she's a fun boss.
Yeah. She's a girl boss, bitch.
She's like, if you mess up going home one last time, then you'll need to be destroyed anyway. It's better to find out now right away than keep you on for weeks and be horribly surprised. So yes, if anyone needs one last visit home, I suppose it can be allowed.
I walk up to Churchill Jackson, whose gruff and militaristic demeanor strikes a chord in me somewhere. So I know that you're a former deputy who's upstairs with a wooden stake through his chest. But if you were in my shoes, would you go to his old stomping grounds?
I brought you on board and supported your bid to join our society because I believe that Nixon was hiding something from me. You're goddamn right I would go to his old neighborhood. I would find out if he was playing both sides against each other or what was going on with him. Why isn't he telling us the entire truth about what happened a week ago when you all came here? We need to find out. He says, let me give you a little advice. Don't go back to your old life. It doesn't end well. It ends with people you love on the floor bleeding out. When you're ready to get to work, he hands you a card with like a single phone number on it, no name or anything. He's like, call this number.
Don't worry. I left my old life a long time ago. And I turn around and walk back to these two, put the card in my coat and say, I vote for Mexican War Street.
Sure, they're all the same to me.
Miles thinks that Curtis is a real tactical dude, and so he goes like,
Yeah. That sounds good. Sure.
We don't have to eat the poor. We get to get a head start on figuring out whatever the fuck was going on. And we get the added benefit of chomping down on some gentrifiers while we're at it.
Hell yeah.
Gentrifiers do taste good. It's tangy.
There's hints of chocolate and
Chipotle.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chipotle. Intelligentsia.
Vegan donuts. And,
Yeah.
Well,
Almond
then
flour.
your luxurious mattress factory is waiting for you when you're done going back and visiting mom and dad.
Can I ask something? All right, so we don't do this, we die. But we do this. What do we get in return? Is it just not dying?
You have been given the gift of immortality. You will develop powers and abilities that will allow you to control the mortal herd. You can make any dream that you have come true by empowering yourself with the blood that has been gifted to you. The only thing that you can't do is go have a burger with your friend Jimmy at the burger place.
Miles
Eternal
starts
life
to like.
isn't
He's like nodding.
a punishment.
He's starting to like get it, and he nudges Jen Brown and goes, "It's just like Twilight."
Adelaide Ross
gives
says,
a heavy sigh.
Adelaide Ross says, Miles, I would like you to stay here with me in Elysium for one more night if you're open to it.
Are they gonna fuck?
Remember, you have to do what I say. I am the prince now. Are they gonna fuck? Do you say that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Who's staying one more night?
She's asking if you will.
Me.
Before you head out into the city. She's like, I have so much to teach you.
All right.
She says that and then she laughs like with kind of a crazy eye. She's like, I have so much to teach you.
Miles doesn't understand her. I think there's like a cultural gap, but he's sort of thinking like, I think that speech like got him on board. So he's like, all right, yeah, I got you.
Okay, great.
And I guess I go to Ashly and I'm like, and if you want to go to your old place, if you don't think being seen with someone like me would draw too much attention to you, I'll go.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have you there.
I just don't want to be by myself right now.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. So let's do that. Let's have Jen Brown go back to her old place. I mean,
Can I before we leave
yeah,
snatch some vials of blood from that Frigidaire that I got into last time?
Yeah, I think that you can. And I'm not going to make you roll to do this. You can just kind of go. I mean, they've been kind of letting you draw from their store. That's the advantage of coming to Elysium. So you do notice that it is labeled with different symbols. And some of the blood is labeled choleric. Some is labeled sanguine. And do you have any academics?
Do I? Where are they? I have one BIP of academics.
You have one BIP? Roll your intelligence with academics.
Intelligence with academics. How hungry am I?
You right now, I'm going to say that, they gave you some blood. So you're at 1.
Okay. So that would be 4, 1 hunger. Is there a difficulty level you would like me to have?
I want you to just get 1 success. 1 was enough here.
Success.
Very good. You recognize, and perhaps you as a player did too, that the blood is labeled according to the old Renaissance idea of humors. Humors are the chemicals in the body that determine many things. Yes, including a person's mood or their mindset, maybe even their destiny in some cases. This seems particularly interesting to you, Jen Brown, because in the last chapter, you were mixing different bloods and getting different effects each time. I put that to you, and I tell you that in this particular cooler, you can find choleric, sanguine, and phlegmatic blood.
Okay. Great. Can I take a vial of each?
You may.
Okay, great.
I should also note that they're not quite vials so much as like full glass bottles, like the size of a beer bottle. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Do I have a bag on me, or does one of the poor humans that we eviscerated have a bag on them?
I think they give you back some of the things that you had before.
Okay.
And I believe Jen could have like a messenger bag or something like that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'll put it in there.
But what they don't give you guys back are any sort of smartphone, cell phone, tablet, anything like, they do not give that back.
Okay.
In fact, let's say right now they're giving everybody their things back that had been previously confiscated. So if anybody has any questions about any of that, their equipment, they can ask me now.
Do I have equipment?
Probably not. I didn't write any on your sheet. I think that you can assume that your character would own things that it would make sense for your character to own. But this is an opportunity for someone to go, I think my character would definitely have a sawed-off shotgun.
Right.
I think my character might have like a army style, not like a Rambo knife, but like
his army knife,
like an army knife. Yeah.
Okay. A K-bar knife is what
a K-bar. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's noticeably burned, as if somebody had been like holding a lighter under it at some point.
That's so sad. Yeah, so you see, and it is returned to you. So you see Curtis look at his K-bar knife, and then when you all kind of see the wear on it, maybe he puts it away again. And the next thing you know, after a week in the claustrophobic confines of this building, you suddenly have the night air hitting your face. Well, that is, except for Miles. We're going to come back to Miles in a minute. Miles, you've decided to stay with Adelaide Ross, the prince of the city. Meanwhile, our two other vampires are heading out into the city. And what's our first order of business here?
For Jen and Curtis?
Yeah, we're going to Jen's old apartment. Is that true?
Yes, but on the way, I have a theory that I want to test, which is I want to try to find an animal. And I want to see what happens, if anything, if I drink the blood of an animal. Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, that's fine. So you're moving to the city for your old apartment. I think your old apartment is in Shady Side. You can still drive. You can still take public transport.
You own a cat, right? I thought. Jen Brown?
Oh no.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You can just jump on that.
Well, no. I mean, like, don't. Is that true? Did you mention that?
I didn't mention, but it does track that she would have a cat.
It's on brand.
Well,
it seems too convenient to say she has mice or something, right? She wouldn't have mice.
That makes me set the scene of Jen's key goes into the lock of her apartment.
No!
And on the other side of the door, she hears, meow, meow, meow.
Oh, I have something I can do. I'm going to get my cat
behind it.
And I'm going to send it into the hallway to find a rat. Because she does this. I'm in a nice apartment, but rodents still get in. So I wanted to find me a rat.
You're in a nice apartment, but there are rodents?
There's like a night, but like I let her out. I'm on the first floor. I let her out into the night.
Nah, man, you gotta eat your cat, dude.
You gotta drain that cat.
You gotta drain that cat.
Drain that cat. Think pink.
Hashtag think pink. Hashtag drain that cat. Here's what happened. You know, Jen, you kind of go breezing into your apartment and you immediately grab the cat and open a window and you're like, go! Get a rat! But I gotta tell you, the cat, it lands like right outside the windowsill and it kind of comes back. It's, you know, I mean, generally you feed it food, you feed it milk. You've been gone a week. It's been surviving somehow, but it's like, meow, meow. It's like, it's hungry and it's desperate and it's looking up into your eyes. And, I want to know what your character wants to do here. Does she really want to get rid of it, or does she want to? What does she want to do? And Curtis, you're here too,
right? So I don't have to keep this from Curtis. I don't want to hurt the cat.
You don't want to hurt Ada. Your cat's name is Ada.
I don't want to hurt Ada Lovelace.
Yes.
My beautiful cat. I want to see if we can survive on animals, because they're making it seem like we can't. And if we can, then that means that these pieces of shit are just killing humans because it tastes better. So I want to find out if we can sustain ourselves on animals. And if we can, then I have a follow-up.
However, you got to justify in killing your own cat.
No, I don't want it to be Ada. Is there a way?
Your hunger's only at 1, so you do have the ability to, withstand. You're not like so tempted to eat your cat right now, but
Okay.
so the cat doesn't seem to be going down to like bring a rat back for you.
Do you tell this to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I reach down to pet the cat. And,
Okay.
And
well, Curtis. Curtis.
And I'm just holding.
Cur-
And then I take it by the scruff of the neck.
I picked a bad time to tell you this. I should have told you this on the way. On the way. I should have told you this on the way.
Because
No,
it's
Curtis,
comfortable. That's how the parents pick them up. And I just hold it so that its eyes are level with yours. And I'm like, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it.
Can we find a different animal? There's got to be like another, like a pet store open or something. A mouse, a rat. I don't want. And I grab Ada. Can I grab Ada?
You can, and I think that what's happening is you guys are kind of like fighting and you're like shouting, and things have gotten a little bit tense for a moment there as you grab the cat back, and you're like, you're saying, "I wanted to find a rat. I need a rat," and that's when I think I know what happens. Let's see here. I want Curtis to roll charisma plus animal ken, difficulty 2.
Ooh, no.
Okay, charisma plus animal. 2, 1. Success.
Okay. Curtis, when Jen takes the cat back from you, you look into its eyes, and suddenly, like, you and the cat just like kind of lock eyes, and you weren't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this as the storyteller, but something weird happens. Suddenly, like, you feel like boom, like your heartbeats are like boom, 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 moving at the exact same time, and the blood that's flowing through the cat, you can feel it, but it's also like it's matching the same rhythm inside of you, and suddenly you know that this cat is connected to you, and you can tell it to do something.
Tell it to dance.
I do that. No,
you could.
No,
Ada, go.
I tell it to. I just kind of. Is it still suspended in air? Is it in?
She's got it. Jen has it. It's going nuts. It's like, but then it's like looking straight at you.
Mm-hmm. I say, I just say, Jen, that's what you want? You want some vermin?
Yeah. What?
I look into the cat's eyes, and I don't know how I know how to do this, but in my best, I could try to communicate this in the best way I can to a cat, which in cat, just the mental game, I'm just like, bring your mistress a gift.
Yes, and the cat here, the cat. Now we're in the cat camera, the cat vision. It looks weird, and it's like, that's what you want. That's what you want. You want some vermin. Bring your mistress a gift. And all of a sudden, it jumps out of Jen Brown's hands, and it jumps out the window, and it's gone into the night for a moment.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't know. I felt good. Are we in the hall of your? We're just kind of.
No, we're in the apartment.
You got inside. You got
we're in the
inside.
apartment.
I blow past her and am looking around for a restroom, and I'm like, gee, this place does your place just look like a Marie Kondo super?
Oh yeah.
Minimalist.
Yes. There are no plants because I would kill them, but everything's very low to the ground.
Design within reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just go to the bathroom and splash cold water on my face and look into my own eyes and see how pale and wan I look.
You look dead. You look like someone who's found by the side of a highway, to be honest with you. You look like a hit and run, because not only are you not alive, you've also been through a horrible week on top of that. And as you were doing that, the water, like it doesn't feel the same way anymore. It's not, when a human throws water against their face, it's refreshing. They feel themselves hydrated, rejuvenated. Hydration like that is not something you need anymore. Now it just feels like splashing water against like a wall or a dead thing. But that's when you hear a scratching.
Okay, I go towards it.
At the door of the apartment, both you and Jen look over to the door, and you hear a scratching at the door.
I just look at her and I'm like, may I? And I open the door.
And the cat isn't there, but there is an enormous dead rat with its entrails sort of pulled out a little bit, leaking not even blood. Whatever was pulled out is leaking some other kind of fluid, and it's laying there. And the thing about dead rats is they always are in this like horrible, they have a horrible expression on their face, like a rictus of snarling terror. There's your meal, Jen Brown.
All right, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to take it out of the hallway, close the door.
Yeah.
And then kind of close my eyes and do the fang thing and go for it.
Okay, so because Jen Brown is, we've established that she's squeamish. I want a willpower roll.
Okay.
I'm like, you don't want to put that in a glass, or
You gonna wash that first? You gonna clean that?
you're gonna.
I'm already dead. Okay, so that would be just willpower, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 and then 1. And that is a success.
Okay. Jen, you managed to bite into the thing. So Curtis, you watch as Jen sinks her fangs into the gray, muddy gray thing in her hands. And Jen, you now feel yourself drinking. You feel the thing's life ebbing out into your mouth and down your throat and into your unliving heart. But I got to tell you, the taste of this blood compared to the blood you had earlier is like a thin gruel. It's like the difference between eating a piece of fried chicken or just eating a little bit of chicken broth. That's what you're eating right now is broth. Like it's just not it, man. It's not the same.
Is it the size of the creature or the quality of the blood? Like if I got like a deer and I drank it, would it be, do I have a sense of whether or not it would be the same?
The sense that you get is that maybe all animals are like this, but that's a great idea. You should try a deer or a horse or something. That's a great idea.
I get angry and I go to the window and I open and I toss the rat out. And
when you do, the cat is sitting there. Ada is sitting there looking directly into Curtis's eyes, and its tail is going back and forth, back and forth.
Will you stop staring at my cat? It's freaking me out.
Meanwhile, in the U.S. Steel Building, Empire.
Good job, girl.
Meanwhile, in the U.S. Steel Building, Adelaide Ross is sharing a cup of blood with you, Miles Vanderbuck, and she's taking you to her personal quarters here. She has personal quarters here on the 59th floor, and it is a luxurious apartment. Again, the floor-to-ceiling windows along 2 walls. Everything is done in kind of like dark red material, like very lush. And she says, "So tell me, what is it that you wish to do with the gift you've been given?"
If I could do anything, Well, ma'am, all my life I've been fighting to keep things right, to keep things equal, to make it so every hardworking man or lady out there can do all the things that he or she wants. And every single time there's someone in my way. And there was someone in my way at work, and there's someone in my way who prevented my wife from being able to pay her medical bills. Now she's dead, and now everybody I know is hard up.
Oh, is he tearing up a little bit?
He's trying not to. He wouldn't wipe it. He just would try
She
to suck
gives
it back
you
in.
a fine silk handkerchief.
I don't need that. So what I want to do
This voice sucks.
is make it so those people who want to get paid, pay.
You want to change society.
Well, I mean, I didn't think I could, but now if I'm some kind of immortal Twilight monster, yeah.
You want to break the current institutions, make them come crumbling down, topple them.
I don't believe in all that destroy the world stuff. I just.
Well, what is the first specific thing that you would do? What's the first step on this path?
Well, I guess it's to do what you people want. It's find whoever the hell you want me to find.
Wrong. Your first step should always be acquiring more power. Because as you said, if you had the power, you could change things. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's what my old union boss used to say down at the docks.
I can teach you. I can teach you to use the beast within you.
Why are you
To
being
exert
so
your
nice
will
to me,
over the
ma'am?
world.
Why are you being so nice to me, ma'am?
Because I find you very interesting.
Something about some old timer whose hands don't work no more.
Wait, I didn't know that part.
Right.
It's early stages of some arthritis going on.
She
That
said,
cauliflower hand.
you're not old. You're a child. In my world, you're a little itty bitty baby. And I'm going to reteach you and make you unlearn all the horrible things the world has taught you. And it starts with this. And she takes her thumb and she breaks the skin on her wrist. And she's like, drink.
Looks around. There's no one else in this room. He says quietly, Sue. He's talking to his dead ex-wife, or dead wife, not ex-wife.
This is nothing sexual. I'm just drinking the nice lady's blood.
She says, no, Sue, it isn't sexual. It's a business proposition. This will give you the power that you need.
He leans in and goes,
This isn't like Twilight at all. I didn't see this in the books.
Oh boy.
Does he drink from her wrist?
yeah, man.
Great. I think that first of all, he's at hunger zero for a little bit. Vampires can't really stay at hunger zero for long, but he is. The second thing that you should know is her blood is different from everything you've had so far. How to describe it? It is like a adrenaline shot to the heart. This is not blood. This is vitae. This is the sweet ambrosia that has been filled with the beast. The beast flows through every corpuscle. Yes. It's like 1,000 orgasms going off in your head.
Right.
But there's
so it's
one.
like when in Demolition Man, when Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone put on those VR sex headsets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yes,
It's exactly that.
that's it. How did
Got
you know that's what I was going to reference?
Because Demolition Man is a personal favorite.
Yes, well, and a great film, and I think on the AFI's top 100. But
Yeah.
basically, when you go nuts, when your mind, ignites from this vitae, you feel a little bit of her personality too. And what you feel in your head is you feel like laughter that doesn't quite feel in control. It feels a little unhinged. Yeah, it's like and soon you're both laughing, your faces are like this close together, like and you feel like you've lost a little bit of time. And the next thing I'll tell you is that your character can now add some things to his sheet. The first thing that your character can add is status, and I want you to give your character a background. That background, it's in the background section. It might say advantages, merits. You have a status of 3, and you need to write right beside it, child of the prince.
All right.
And you also have just ignited a discipline inside of Miles Vanderbuck through his choices. And I think that he takes from this a point of presence. No, I'm sorry. He takes 2 dots in presence.
Ooh.
Cool.
And I can tell you what those do, but I think you, the player, can know what they do, but Miles probably doesn't know what they do right now.
Okay. Let's discover it. In a time where it could apply. Let me feel a tingling sensation or something.
I think you will. But right now, she takes you out onto the balcony of her apartment, and you look out over the lights, and she goes, "All of this, all of Pittsburgh."
Look upon it and despair. Steel City.
That means something to Miles because he's born and raised here. He's
a river dock worker.
Yeah.
Worked on the Allegheny, worked on the Monongahela.
You bet it. You bet it.
You bet it. You bet it's right.
You bet it. Hashtag keep it pink or whatever.
Yeah.
Pink truth.
Yeah. Get pink. Hashtag get pink. All right.
Yeah.
Now we go back to our gourmands, our lunchers, our ladies who lunch. Jen, you've had your dinner.
Uh-huh.
And you guys have to decide what you want to do next.
So the real reason I came here was I want to get basically any tech that I would likely have at my apartment that will enable me to do all of the fun Hugh Jackman swordfishy shit that I want to do in our new spot. So I want to get like hard drives, any sort of devices that will obfuscate like people being able to trace me. If I have anything like that, realistically, laptop, all that kind of stuff, I want to take it.
Okay, great. So you have tons of stuff like that, and
right.
I will allow you to write it all down on your sheet, like anything you can think of. But I mean, you had your own tech company, you know how to use this stuff, and yeah, it's all yours. But as you're doing that, you hear a knock at the door.
I go to I'm gonna run into my kitchen, grab a bottle of tequila, mix it with the blood, close my eyes, and take a swig.
Oh, really? Okay, great.
And see
the blood. Which, do you know what the bottle was? I can determine it for you.
I don't know what they do still yet.
You don't.
Do I remember which one I took to know to be able to super hear?
You believe that it was phlegmatic blood.
Okay. Hold that help me here? I'm gonna try sanguine.
Okay, sanguine blood. All right. So you pour some sanguine blood into a bottle of vodka. The knock is like gone on for a little while, and you drink it up. You suck it down.
I toss the bag that I was putting stuff in this underneath the kitchen sink, and I go to the door.
Okay. Curtis is just kind of standing there waiting for you to answer. And when you open the door,
I'll get behind the. I'll get along the wall beside the door so that whoever opens it doesn't see me in there.
Very good. When you open the door, you are looking at a African-American man, very tall and thin and lean, in a fine suit, and he's like very pale with a washed-out complexion, and his face is almost skeletal. He's like, "Hello.
Can I help you?"
Yes. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Francis. I work for Obadiah Griffin. I was told I might be able to find you here.
Obadiah Griffin.
Is someone behind the door?
Curtis, come out.
I take the long way and circle around and stand just behind her to the right.
What is it?
No apologies necessary. I understand that we can all become a little bit paranoid in our line of work. I represent Obadiah Griffin. He is the Ventru clan primogen here in Pittsburgh, and he would like to make you an offer. He would like to purchase your company. He hands you a piece of paper. It's a sheet with all the details of a sale. Make a finance roll.
What is the finance? Oh, I see.
Intelligence plus finance.
Intelligence plus finance.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 7. My hunger's not down to 0, right?
No, I think with this the little bit of animal blood you took, it's just stay at 1.
Okay.
Difficulty 1 for this as well. This is not a.
Okay. Success.
Okay. You understand the term sheet at a glance because you're good with these kinds of things, and basically they are going to remove you. That you'll become very rich, but you will no longer have a hand in your own company. You will no longer have anything to do with it, and they're going to put it under Flowcom, which is one of their companies. It'll be like kind of a subsidiary.
Do I have a choice?
Well, I was instructed to tell you that in terms of your ongoing involvement in the mortal world, you do not have much of a choice. This is why this is a very generous offer for you.
So why do you guys get to own my company and I don't? If it's part of the mortal world.
Well, we have networks of mortals that obey our every whim and command. As well as retinues of ghouls above them who are bloodbound to our kindred masters. In other words, the infrastructure has been put in place to own something like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I used to not have the infrastructure to own my company, and I built it. So thank you for the offer, and I give him back the paper. You can tell your boss to fuck off, and I close the door.
You wait. Oh fuck. You hear outside, and a hand smashes into the door, and it splinters. And then you hear footsteps walking away.
Jen's against the wall. Kind of. That blood didn't do shit.
Curtis is also against the wall with his knife out.
Look, Curtis, the reason I came here, and I run into I motion him into the kitchen away from the gaping hole that's now in my door. and I grab the tech out of the kitchen sink. I don't want anything to do with any of these fuckers. The Anarchs, the Camarilla, whatever the fuck they're called. I want to put them against each other. The only people I trust are you and Miles now. And they fucked us. And I want revenge. I want them to burn. I think we can do this. I think we can make our own path and not be under their heel.
Do you know how hard what you're describing is going to be? We're fucking infants in this world, man. If they come at us with all the power at their disposal, how can you hope to survive? I don't like being manipulated by anybody, and that includes you. I don't like being screwed over by them. I don't like being turned against my will by these anarchists. I don't like being played by them, which is why I pushed him out the fucking window.
I'm not playing you. I'm asking you.
Jen, while you are having this scene with Curtis, I want you to make a resolve roll and add 1 die to it.
Okay, so it's at a 2, which means I have 3, right?
That's right. And one of those is a hunger die still.
One of those is a hunger die. Not 21 dice pool, although wouldn't that be grand? Okay. Okay. Total failure.
A total failure. Okay. So you are really engrossed in this conversation with Curtis, and what are you saying to him?
Basically what I just said. I'm like, I have no interest in manipulating you. I want your help.
Something else is happening. The cat, while you guys are talking, keeps going.
What is it, Ada?
It's like, I don't trust either of them either. And I'm with you as far as I can go. But then I look over at the cat and just kind of kneel down on its level.
And it's hissing at something.
I look where it's hissing.
The corner of the room.
Fuck. Oh no. Someone's in here.
I just noticed. I just clock that, and then I just kind of stand up. We're in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
I grab I just open a drawer, and I'm like, look, I can only follow you so far. The way I see it, these people gave us life, and I'm going to follow them as far as it gets me. Okay? If you're looking for a traitor, I'm sorry. Don't come to me. And while I'm saying this, I'm pulling a knife out of the drawer, and then I turn around and I throw it as hard as I can at the corner where the cat is looking.
Okay, great. So I want you to go ahead and give me a strength plus melee roll for that.
Okay. Is there a difficulty?
Yes, there's a difficulty. Well, this is an invisible entity, whatever this is. So there's a difficulty, but you're right there, and you planned it well. 3.
Okay.
Difficulty of 3.
All right. Failure, it says.
Failure. The knife goes clang against the wall, and now I must advise you that you guys feel air move past you.
Fuck.
And
in which direction?
Toward the exit of the apartment, the door that leads into the hallway, and now Jen Brown, you haven't acted, so why don't you do something if you'd like to?
Is it super speed style?
No. All I can tell you is that you feel something moving past you.
I have far reach. Can I use that?
I feel like because you've been mixing different things, and you made sure to take a. Yes, you can. Yes,
I can.
You may.
Okay,
yes,
great.
I'm going to allow it. Yes. So Jen Brown, her thin blood alchemy is sort of manifesting itself in that she makes these alcoholic drinks with some blood in them for herself, and then her powers manifest. So, I think that she can roll for far reach. I'm just looking for what you roll for that. Is it there on the sheet? No, it's not, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and just ask you to make a rouse check and then tell me what you're doing with it.
Oh.
Hey, Jared, I've got it if you need it.
Oh, great.
Let's Clint!
Tell me, my friend.
She's going to roll resolve plus her discipline, which is Thin Blood Alchemy, versus the target's strength plus athletics.
It's going to be really bad, is what you just told me. Oh, no.
Probably.
Not necessarily. Why don't you roll that for me, though, and also make a rouse check, please.
I forget how to make a rouse check. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Of course. So that's very easy. You just roll one of your die and see if it comes up 6 or above. And that's right. You just rouse the beast within your blood to give you your vampiric power.
Should I do that first?
Do that first.
So that would just be 1 in the dice pool, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Success 7. I got a 7.
Okay, great. So you don't get hungry from this, and now you can use the power.
Come on, baby. Success. Oh, double success.
Oh, great. Now you need to tell me what you're doing with it.
I want to see if I am able to kind of just reach out and grab, like, maybe it's too much to say that I would know, but to sort of follow the rush of air and see if I can grab where it is and drag it back.
Great. So I'm going to now roll the strength plus athletics that Clint mentioned to see if you have grabbed something with your mind, like Jen Brown went, whoo, and then had carry powers all of a sudden as the blood in her all went into her brain and opened up like some sort of node in her head and synapses fired in a weird way and her mind shot out and grabbed someone on the shoulder. But is it enough? Will it work? Let's see.
Does she have the boa?
How many successes did you get on your roll?
I got 2. They were both 7s. I don't know if that matters.
It doesn't. It only matters if you hit 10s, right? Because those end up being criticals.
Right.
I'm afraid to say that whatever this is, you have it, and then all of a sudden it wrenches free, pulls down in front of your eyes what's left of the door, and then you hear tick, 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 out into the hallway.
Fuck.
Let's go back to Miles. Miles, where would you like to go? What would you like to do? You've spent your night with, actually, let's see, you've spent a night with Adelaide Ross in a frenzy of blood drinking. You feel so much closer to her now. You feel like you can hear her lilting laugh in your head. And the next a night has passed, and now it is the next night, and you must give me a rouse check, my friend.
Honestly, Miles feels a little bit guilty. He didn't sleep with her, and it wasn't sexual, but he feels like maybe he betrayed Sue. A rouse check. Explain how?
Yes, no problem. We're going to take a short break, 5 minutes for people to use the bathroom and stuff. But in that time, you just roll 1D and see if it comes up 6 or above to see if you're hungry when you awaken. So if anybody needs to take a short break, this is our intermission. And while we are on intermission, I will, if anybody has any, answer questions or talk to the chat room.
All right.
Y'all intermit. I'll be right back. I think I got a success.
Ross and Ashly, before you go, when you come back, we're going to jump the narrative ahead because Miles has jumped ahead a night.
Okay.
So don't let me cheat you out of anything that you wanted to do. We'll just have to but we are going to try to jump ahead. Okay, so be thinking about that a little bit.
Cool. Okay.
All right, guys, this is Vampires of Pittsburgh. All the power and prestige of Pittsburgh is within our characters' grasps. Will they grab it and choke the life out of it and suck it dry, or will the Steel City beat them down and leave them to burn in the sun? Does the Ventru Vulture Capitalists have an electric car company? That is a great idea, and Maybe he does now. I'm writing it down. No, I mean, I can tell you guys stuff. I don't know if it looks like the players aren't listening, so I can tell you guys stuff. The Ventru Primogen is named Obadiah Griffin, and he is a former CEO of Bethlehem Steel. Thanks for saying that you love it. I appreciate that. Yeah. Any long-term plans for this show? Well, that's a great question. If you have thoughts on that, NJ Watcher or anybody else listening or watching out there, send them to us, because we at Stream of Blood, we're trying to do a bunch of different games. We're trying to not only do Vampire, but we also have our Sunday games. So at 1:30 Pacific time on Sundays, we do. We've been doing a GURPS game called GURPS Henchmen, which is about regular crooks in a world of superheroes, the guys that work for the supervillain. And this coming week, we have another installment of Mothership, which is a really cool indie sci-fi horror game that simulates movies like Alien or Event Horizon. And I don't know how long these various series should be. I think I'd like to go at least, I know I have at least 6 sessions worth of story for Vampire. And I know that we are planning to do, we have at least a plan for one other game coming up on Sundays. We're thinking about doing some Cthulhu Dark Ages, where everybody will be Cthulhu investigators in Anglo-Saxon England in like the 800s. But if people have requests, I want to hear them. And if you really love one of these series, like if Vampires of Pittsburgh is your favorite, let us know and tell us to keep it going. And we will try to do that if we hear from a lot of people who are interested in loving it. I guess that's my answer. Could Obadiah have dominated, mesmerized Jen to sign the contract? Yeah, but that probably wouldn't be very smart, because then he would be pissing off Jen's adopted sire, and the web of politics of the Kindred, as I'm sure you know, can get pretty complex. So maybe he's giving her, the most generous. Maybe he's a nice guy in terms of, 100-year-old vampires, and he's giving her the best offer that he can. Oh, thanks so much. Well, the one thing, thanks for saying that this is your favorite scenario so far. The one thing that I really want to try to really put into all the scenarios for all the games is some real choices. And that could be hard to do. Our players were a little bit railroaded the last 2 chapters, but as they kind of choose their role in the city more, that it'll become more and more wide open to them, and they can really kind of set the scenes themselves.
All right, Jared, I think we're ready to jump back in. And if folks in the stream have any more questions, you can save them for the end of the show, and we'll answer a few more.
That sounds great. Thank you, Clint. Clint Trucks, everybody. And let's get back into Vampires of Pittsburgh. Miles Vanderbuck has just risen in the sumptuous apartment of Adelaide Ross here on the 59th floor of the U.S. Steel Building. What would you like to do, Miles? Oh, how did your rouse check go, by the way?
It was a success. I just rolled the 1D in the dice roller, right?
Great. Yeah, and your hunger doesn't go up then. You're fine. So what would you like to do now with your unlife? And you could say, go to that territory that's been kind of fiefed to you, or you could, yes, you have an idea.
A question. Well,
yeah.
No, I have a question. At what last session I got a tick on my humanity? Is that
a stain on your humanity? Yes.
Mm.
Does that go down after now, or is it there?
Does it though? He does not go down until you take action to make it go down.
Understood.
Stains. Here's what happens when the stains on the one side of your tracker hit your humanity bar that's coming from the other side. You have to roll, and you might lose a dot of humanity. So if you want to gain humanity, you've got to do something human. And if you want to lose a stain, that would be the same strategy. You have to do something that reconnects you with your mortal life. Would Miles like to do that right after he has taken the Faustian bargain from Adelaide Ross? Would he? Is he that much of an ephemeral creature?
I think he would like to. I mean, in all honesty, he'd probably like to see if he could, in some way, just say goodbye to his daughter, or at least just like see her from outside the window and say goodbye. Like he wants to go to her place. Amy, sweet Amy Vanderbuck.
Yeah, Amy Vanderbuck. So Amy's kind of in her mid-20s, maybe into her late 20s, like 27, something like that. And she lives in a
no good boyfriend, but
she's got that boyfriend that we don't like, Tyler. The guy's a dipshit. And she lives in kind of a low rent part of town. You know, another thing that kind of has been disappointing you over the years is that Amy, even though she went to college, she's like buried in debt. She hasn't really been able to really start making ends meet. And she's even had to take a couple loans from you and Sue since graduating college. Mm-hmm. So it probably really hurts Miles that he has to kind of now leave her and not know how things are going to turn out for her. So he can go and see her. Now in Pittsburgh, a low rent apartment might be a house, and that's true here. She's in like a really small kind of like really worn down little cottage. Actually on the I'm going to say on the south side, actually, which is one of the territories that you were offered. And she is right now at home. She's got the TV on. It's playing like YouTube clips on repeat. Are you just looking inside, or are you going to knock and say hello?
I think I'd like to knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door, and you hear music coming from inside, in addition to having seen the YouTube clips flowing through the window. And Amy answers the door, and she's like, she has a big smile on her face, but then when she sees you, she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Oh my God."
Hey, I'm fine, baby. Look, sweetie, I gotta go away for a while, okay?
When you say that, you probably raise your hand, and you notice that your hand is pale white, like a corpse. Do you want to do something about that?
Yes.
Make a rouse check.
Okay. Rouse it is. A rather rousing check, I might add. Okay. You said rouse check with two things, or no? What did you just say?
Just make a rouse check. You just roll one die and tell me if it's a success, a 6 or more.
Total failure.
Okay. So, with a rouse test, your character can appear like a living person. You'll have a pulse, a body temperature, breath. Your face won't be the pale mask of a dead man. And it's even possible to do some things that humans do, like eat food or have sex. You have failed in your rouse check that you still get the blush of life right now, but you gain a hunger. So it's kind of cool that you went to 0 hunger earlier. Now you're at 1 hunger.
Got it.
So suddenly she's like, "Oh, sorry, it must be the light out here. I hate this weird yellow porch light. Come inside."
It's fine. Hey, one day I'll get it fixed. You're light, but now, baby, I gotta go. I gotta go out of town for a while. Okay, I can't.
What? Why?
Some of the union guys were kind of up to something, but it could be big. Okay, I just wanted to.
Wait. What do you mean big? What are you up to? You guys aren't planning something crazy, are you?
I can't tell you right now, baby. I just wanted to say goodbye, okay?
And he's doing this Miles thing of like sucking his tear back in.
This is just like you. This is just like you don't even you come in to tell me something that just like makes me want to cry, and then you just walk out again.
Amy, sweetie, I just want to say goodbye. I just want to hug you. Can I hug you, baby? Can I hug you, sweetie?
Poor Miles.
She's like, "Fine," and she gives him a hug.
It's becoming.
I don't say it too much. I love you, okay? And I love your mom, and you're all I've got. I'll see you in a bit, okay? I'll see you in a bit.
Over her shoulder, you see some paperwork on the table, and you see that the paperwork is labeled with the logo of Flowcom. Flowcom is the business that recently kind of took control of the dock workers, the river dock workers unions, and it's on the table of your daughter. She's like, I love you too, Dad, but you're so weird. You can't just like disappear in the middle of the night. I hope you're not planning something stupid.
Can I reach that letter?
Sure.
I grab it.
And you see that it's a welcome to Flowcom letter. It appears that Amy has just been hired at Flowcom. And I'll also say that Flowcom recently screwed you guys in a labor negotiation.
You doing okay, baby? You're working now, or?
So you're asking questions now. Thanks so much. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just got a job. It's not a big deal. It's an analytics thing for Flowcom, actually. So don't get mad, okay? I needed a job. You are getting very angry, probably.
No. Things are different. What's the point in getting married? Angry at this point. He goes, unless I can resist it. You want to have a battle of the dice?
I think that you should have a battle of the dice. I think that you should roll willpower. The only problem is that Bruja, they have a problem when it comes to frenzying over anger. They actually are worse at resisting it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that in order for you to not have a frenzy here, when the company that's responsible for screwing over your union is now where your daughter is going to make a buck,
yeah,
I think you're going to need to give me 3 successes to not have a frenzy here with the rolling your willpower dice.
All right. So I got willpower, I got a hunger roll. Verfilm. 3 successes.
Really?
Ooh.
I don't know if you can see it.
I can-ish. Okay. So you just like, man, you were role playing it already. You knew you were gonna.
I tremble a bit, but I go. It's okay, Amy.
I'm gonna have to hit the road for a while, so I just want you to be on your own 2 feet. And I know you got that Travis son of a bitch you gotta take after, but
it's Tyler. He walks in. He walks in out of the shower. He's like still wearing like just like a bathrobe and like Puma shorts.
Too many tattoos for Miles.
Covered in tattoos. He's like, "How's it going, Pops?"
Don't call me father until you make it official. Put a ring on it. Not that I want you to. God damn it, Travis.
They're bad tattoos too. There's like a yin yang. There's like a Polynesian, motif on the arm.
Tribal.
Yeah, okay. Tribal.
Anyway, he just looks at Amy and just looks at her and takes her in and says, "All right, yeah, you stay safe now. Bye, baby. I'll see you soon."
When are you coming back?
Walks into the night.
I'll see you in a bit. I can't tell you much right now, but see you later.
Miles, as you walk off, and you've done the best thing for her. The tears of blood, because as we established,
right, you're just like weeping blood.
Just mushing it all red.
Yeah, it comes out of your nose too. Miles, for doing the right thing by your daughter and not frenzying out in the middle of her house, you can erase that stain.
Good job, Miles.
Yeah. Cleaning my stains, yeah. I'm cleaning my stains. I'm a kindred spirits, yeah.
Look who has humanitron.
Curtis and Jen Brown. What has happened? So after your scene the previous night, what did you do?
I mean, there's part of me that wouldn't want to draw that to a close, but would want to, as a last ditch effort, once that door came down, look down at Ada the cat and just like see if I could do it again, and
have her like follow it,
and have her snag him.
Okay. So what I want you to do is make a rouse check, and then I want you to roll manipulation or charisma, whichever one you like, and then add 2 dots to it.
So rouse first, and then separate from that, the other stuff.
That's right. Let me see how the rouse goes first.
The rouse was a fail. Okay,
so you gain a point of hunger.
Okay.
When you use the blood, you spend it, and you start to get hungry again.
Gotcha.
And now you need to roll manipulation or charisma, and then I will, and then add 2 more dice to that.
Okay. All right. I rolled that, and it was a success.
So here's what happens.
2 successes, I think. Yeah.
You what are you telling the Ada, the cat? What are you communicating?
Catch the intruder.
The cat up out of the house and off into the night. And I don't know if you go and follow her into the corridor, but the cat hasn't come back that night. And as the sun starts to rise, you guys were forced to do what? Where did you go?
I think Jen has blackout curtains.
Okay,
so.
That makes sense. She's got
Do we feel safe in here without a door?
Code all night and all day.
There's no door. Well, I want to wait for her to come back. I mean, we could. There's like a bookshelf we could have like maybe.
Yeah, I think you guys could make a makeshift shelter for the night, but I got to tell you, you feel nervous about it. I mean, people knew you were here already, and I'm going to say that
I don't feel great about it. I'm like, are you sure you want to stay here? We've already got one intruder. I don't know if there's another one of those things in here.
I have a weird emotional attachment to my cat, but fine, we can go to that other. What is it?
Can we say it's been an hour? I don't know if it's coming back.
All right, let's go to what is it? Where is it? Mexican War? What?
Mexican War Streets.
Mexican War Street. Let's just go there. And I grab the bag.
All right. So as you are heading toward this address you were given, you know that the sun is coming up, and I got to tell you guys, it's not just that you're afraid of being burned by the sun. Although anytime you kind of look in the direction of where it's getting a little more blue and a little less dark, fear like fills your spine. But not only that, like it's getting hard to walk, and it's like you're just so tired. This isn't sleep. You don't need a nap. There is your blood is literally turning to like gel in your veins as the sun starts to rise. Let's see how you do. You're navigating through the city, trying to get to this address you've never been to before.
Can we hail a taxi?
Yeah, could we have gotten in a cab or called an Uber or a Lyft?
I think that is what happens. I think that in the wee hours of the morning, Jen and Curtis are like in the back of a cab, like, and the cabbie's like, these kids get too drunk. And he's from New York for some reason. And he drives you to this address, and you're looking at this huge, dilapidated, like edifice with like windows broken out of it. Pieces of the brickwork have like fallen off. And he's like, you sure you want to get out? Are you sure you want to get out here?
There's another party, dude. Party.
You ever been to a fucking all-night rave, my man?
It's fucking tight.
Great, and that's that's great. I don't even bother rolling. He believes you, and he's just a taxi cab anyway, so he fucks off. And, you get into this place, and what you find is that it appears to be locked up tight.
Shit.
Like you're going to like the places where you'd like open a door and it's like all boarded up, and in places where there are like old big metal doors, there's like big huge padlocks on them. And the light in the sky is getting lighter and bluer.
Are there boards that could be ripped down? Is there any sort of
broken windows we could get through?
Yeah. Why don't you guys give me just a strength plus athletics roll?
Oh, that's going to be all on you.
Yeah, there. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's the stuff.
Uh-huh.
This is what greets you when you look through that broken window.
Ay.
Okay, let's see. Strength plus athletics.
That was a success for me. Or I got.
It's not going to be for me, but let's just see. I
rolled
failure.
I rolled 2 successes out of 6.
Okay. Well, because this isn't like a high tension scene, Jen, what I'm going to rule is that and it wasn't like a critical failure like on the Hunger Die or anything.
No.
Was it? No. Okay. And it wasn't like a crazy, messy critical for you, was it, Curtis Krieger?
No.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to rule is that like you guys like have to climb in over through this window over like broken glass, which like cuts your bodies, and you're just like, because you don't have the strength right now to just like kind of be careful. You're like literally like you guys are like crawling to get inside, and you're like rolling through the window down to the floor, and it cuts you up. You each take I'm going to say, Jen failed, so Jen Jen takes 3 aggravated damage.
Oh.
No, that's too much. 3 superficial damage. And Curtis, you don't take any damage, but you just barely get inside and pull Jen through. And you can see that she's got pretty cut up pretty badly by the glass. And just as you do that, you realize that you have to duck down into the shadow because a strand of yellow light is now coming in through these windows.
Is there a shadowy, like an even more shadowy place, or a stairwell down into a hollow?
You do find a stairwell down into a hollow, and following it down there, you find that you are in kind of like some sort of sub basement or something. And this place has a door that is open, but it's got like locks on it if you want, and there's a bed down here. But Nixon wasn't much for luxury, so it's like a twin bed, a cot in the corner.
Is there someone already lying on it?
No, Nixon, as we all know, is somewhere in the U.S. Steel Building being interrogated or paralyzed by a stake through the heart. So
I'm thinking of more of a Vanderbuckian nature.
But Bex is still out there. Can I do like can I see if there's signs that anyone's down here now?
Yes, you can search around, but you are so tired that I'm going to say that your search it's going to be really tough right now. You need to give me 3 successes to kind of look around.
Okay.
While you do that, Jen's going to have a tantrum / breakdown.
Great. 3 successes of what?
3 successes. Oh, yeah, that's good. On an investigation roll, let me give me wits plus investigation.
Okay.
Can I see that again, Clint?
Show it again, Clint.
Oh no, he's showing me things separate from you guys. Thank you so much.
What? Clint, you're keeping secrets.
Clint.
Oh yeah.
I got.
Fuck.
Looks like I got 3 successes.
Hey.
Okay, Curtis Krieger, you find 2 things that this haven has. All right. First of all, it has a postern, meaning it has a secret exit in the back that is really hard to kind of pick up on. Basically, you can go down into another sub basement. You can crawl underground to a block away and come up through some machinery out of like a manhole if you want. The other thing you
turtle
find,
power.
Turtle power, indeed. The other thing you find is that this haven has an hidden armory, when you're doing your little search all over this place, you find like behind pipes, like tied to the tops of like little areas near windows, you find a shotgun, a rifle, and 2 pistols that have been like carefully taped to the wall.
I take the pistols and put them in my belt. I leave the other ones there. Are they loaded?
No, but you also find under the bed a big box of ammo for all of the guns that you found.
Okay, I load the pistols. I put one in my belt. I have the second one, and I'm looking at the bleeding body of Jen Brown. You know
right.
You know how to use this?
No.
All right, then maybe it's best that I hang on to both.
Jen Brown. Yeah. Jen Brown, you are sitting there. You were badly cut, and your shirt is now ripped, and your precious vampiric vitae is leaking from your torso. But would you like to do something about that?
Like,
well, I think what's probably not helping it is that I think she's probably crying and having a little bit of a panic moment.
I think this.
But I wonder if any of the blood that I have with me would help.
Well, it would. You can drink that blood. But what you can do right now, and I think that even when you're crying fit, this would be instinctive. You need to give me a rouse check.
Okay. Come on. Nope.
Okay. Don't worry. You just get more hungry, but this. So anytime you're using a rouse check, you're just awakening your blood to do something that vampires can do.
Right.
A failure only means you get more hungry. So I need you to add a point to your hunger, and then I need you to know that one of those levels of superficial damage is now gone.
Okay. Great.
Your body is like healing up before your eyes. And I think that it continues to do that in the next turn if you will continue like kind of allowing it to. Does that sound right?
Yeah, if I set up my there's no power here though, huh? Well, I guess I would have
that's the other thing, Jen. You immediately are like, my computers, my setup, I have to get things installed. And the second you pull your stuff out, you look around like there's no power here. You're in like a grimy, abandoned building.
Would I potentially have like a not that it would last forever, but like a transportable power source?
That feels like something you'll have if you give me a wits plus tech roll.
Okay. 3 + 4. Okay, so that would mean.
And it's a common enough thing that you only need 1 success.
Okay. Okay, come on, Jen. Fuck. Nope.
Okay. You didn't grab that. I mean, like the events of the night just distracted you. Now, here's what I need. I need you to make 2 more rouse checks, Jen Brown, and then I want both of you to make a willpower roll.
Okay. Success on my second one.
On your second rouse check, okay.
And then success. Oh no, I'm sorry. Failure on the third. So now I'm at hunger 3. Is that the deal?
You're at hunger 3. Your wounds have knitted together again, and now both of you are going to make a willpower roll.
Fuck. That's not good. Total failure.
Okay.
3 success.
Jen is Curtis. Jen is completely like dead. She's like not moving, but her wound has completely knitted itself back together.
I can say that I've been like rooting around trying to find like a clean-ish piece of cloth or something, like a rag or anything that I could use to mop up or tie up the wound. And I come back with a piece of like gauze or latex that I found dangling from a pipe, and it's gone. The wound is gone. And then
and that's when you feel the need to sleep like washing over you.
And she's in the bed, and I just kind of curl up on the ground next to the bed, but not on it.
Yes, and I'll tell you one other thing. Like, as you're doing this, as you're succumbing to the beast that needs to sleep, you don't just like curl up near the bed. You like scurry. Like you don't even, you're like surprised by it yourself, but you can barely kind of keep control. Like you like scurry and like tunnel down into the side of the bed.
Oh, you said this is a cot, right?
What's
so it's
that?
like I'm underneath. Like
Yeah.
Like when a firework goes off and the dog like goes under the
Yes.
desk.
And that's when we jump to the next night. And that's when Miles had his last scene. You've already seen your daughter. And do you go to the Haven now, Miles, or would there be anything else?
I think, yeah, after a long and lonely walk, after saying goodbye to his daughter, he's like, well, I think I should get on with this task and see where it leads me. So yeah, he's gone to the war streets and whatever else, or Mexican war streets.
Very good. And
Mexican war streets.
You got it. And I need a final rouse check from Ross and Ashly, because your vampires awakened. We've now jumped to the next night when Miles met his daughter. So you awakened 12, 13 hours later, and you roll your die. And how'd that go? Because we really do not want Jen to get to hunger 4. Oh my God.
That's a failure for me, so that's more hunger.
Where are you at?
I'm now at 3 hunger.
And Jen, how are you doing?
I failed.
Okay, so are you at hunger 4? So here's what happens.
Oh no.
You guys awaken in like the half light of dusk in this like weird basement, and you are like animals. Like you are like like you're shaking with the beast inside you. Meanwhile, Miles Vanderbuck is just sort of kind of
ambling
toward. You need to feed now, or you're going to do something bad. So I need to know what you decide to do, and that goes for both of you, Jen especially. Like you're in trouble.
Can I? Are the vials of blood I have enough?
Let's see here. You open up the bag, and there they are, a big supply of blood. They feel a little warmer than they did last night when you got them out of that refrigerator, but surely that won't matter. Why don't you have a little bit? Why don't you go ahead and take some?
Based on how you're saying this, it
why don't you go ahead and roll your willpower first? Because Jen thinks
I don't. It'll all be hunger die. Should I do that?
What's that?
They'll all be hunger dice.
Okay. I mean, you shouldn't do that, but what? No, I'm sorry. Hunger dice don't affect a willpower roll. Go ahead.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Roll your willpower. Yes.
Okay. Success.
Okay, so you're able to drink. Do you want to drink?
Yeah.
Okay, so you start drinking from these bottles. Like you're so hungry right now, you don't care. The sight of blood isn't bothering you right now. You're like, look. And I got to tell you, it tastes like fucking water that fell off the side of like an old building. Like it just feels like mud and dirt, and it's warm, and it makes you immediately like vomit. And now I want another willpower roll.
Oh God. Jen is having a hard time.
Oh.
Okay. Success.
Okay, so you stop yourself before you suddenly go on like a crazy, terrible frenzy and just smash all the bottles and maybe even attack Curtis. But you look up at him after vomiting with like, scabby, dark blood covering the bottom of your mouth, and you do not.
Oh.
You do not look good, Jen Brown. So, Curtis and Jen, what are you going to do?
We just need a little taste, and quickly. Can you walk? Can you move?
Yeah.
Then I say we get out of here and find something.
Well, look who it is! A couple of crazies!
Miles comes in and he's like, ah!
So would we find out on our little gumshoe mission?
We need to feed Miles. Get out of the fucking way.
Oh.
Curtis, you feel just like you did on your worst days when you were really heavy.
Did you see anybody out there? You see anybody out there? Was anybody walking the streets?
Did I?
Yeah, I mean it's just now dusk. But I got to tell you that this neighborhood, like, it's not like it's a little bit more residential. It's the place you chose to come, and they told you was like a smaller neighborhood. It's not really like a place where like there's a ton of people doing business on the streets. And as it gets darker, the less likely you're going to be able to find prey. So Miles's answer would be like, I think maybe a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple people. There's people all over, but yeah, so there's a few people down the street.
And is the idea that if we feed in a different neighborhood, we'll get in trouble?
No, this is that's correct. I'm sorry. Yes, Brown, you have to feed here.
Okay.
Are you prepared to do what you have to do, though?
Yeah, I don't fucking care. I need to eat now.
All right.
You should give me some sort of fucking guilt trip, man. It's got to be. Look, we got to. Sometimes you just have to fucking make a choice and do it. And I scuttle off, my hands occasionally grazing the ground in a sort of canine way down the little corridor towards the manhole.
Yeah,
I follow him.
Okay. So you come out of this access hatch, long abandoned, long forgotten. Whatever these buildings are near you, looks like the back of like a costume shop, and you're not sure what this is. Maybe like a cafe. It looks like they used to be buildings that belonged as part of the factory campus, but now the gentrifiers have come in and changed the neighborhood, and you're literally creeping up back by the dumpsters and things behind these buildings.
Is there any movements or any signs of life in these places?
Sure.
The costume shop and or the cafe?
Well, you're behind them now, and you just kind of see back doors. The costume shop does have like a logo kind of like painted on the back of it, of the stone building. Why don't you give me a wits plus perception roll? And because of your heightened sense of need, you only need to give me one success for this.
Okay. Perception.
Jen, you're with him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I also do that?
You certainly may.
Okay, great.
And Miles, did you follow them?
Am I crazy that I don't see perception on here? Is that a thing?
That's because I'm thinking of the old game, my friend, and I apologize. Please tell your wits plus awareness, and I apologize.
No.
5. Oh my god, so I'm rolling 4 hunger.
Awareness.
Success.
Success. Okay, here's what happened. There is there's no one. Like, it's like quiet, and then you see like a girl with pink hair. You hear like a tink 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 at the front of the costume shop, and then a girl with pink hair and like a leopard like jacket like walks past the alley between the two buildings where you guys are.
So yeah, my pupils dilate, and I just beeline.
Okay, you beeline towards,
and I come around the corner of the alley. Just,
I'd like to put my hand on his shoulder and say,
"Yeah, easy, pal. There's other people around, and she might not be the only one. If you want to do what I know we all want to do, we gotta play this nice and easy, just like in the Twilight movies."
While Miles is saying that, I'm just walking. I'm so hungry. I'm just walking down the street toward her.
So you're just in her trail. She hasn't noticed you. She's on her phone. She's got earbuds in now, and she's walking toward a bus stop.
Playing damage control, I'm just gonna keep an eye out for other people that are.
Oh no! Don't know.
I said pink hair, but this is good too. It's that type of gal. For
she
sure.
dies like 1,000 times, so she'll come back in a different alternate reality.
I'll look out. I'll look for like anyone that could maybe notice what I know is going to happen.
Yeah, I'll be like, that's good. That's good. You be the lookout, and you just give us the high sign if anybody comes around.
Okay? Touch my fucking face.
Well, I can tell you that, Miles, when you look around, you actually see like past like a patch of greenery that makes like a kind of a little triangle here where some streets kind of converge. You do see a gentleman getting into his car like across, the way. He's probably about maybe a football field away. So there are other targets. This place isn't deserted, and it's not like after midnight. So you guys do have options, but you are aware that Jen Brown is right behind this woman right now.
Can I do like a willpower roll against myself to see if my humanity is present at all?
I think that you can. Yeah, you want to kind of resist this sort of urge. Yeah, go ahead. Give it a shot.
I want to see if I have any control over myself. And I don't roll hunger die.
No, not for willpower.
Okay. Critical success.
Okay, Jen, you're right behind her. I mean, like your fangs are kind of starting to come out, and you can just see like the vein in her neck throbbing, and suddenly you just come back to yourself. You're like, what am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing?
I just walk past her and I like go against the side of a house and I kind of I don't need to breathe, but I'm like,
she pulls an earbud out. When you look up again, she's looking right at you. She pulls an earbud out and she's like, "Are you okay, honey?"
Yeah, I just had a fucking edible and I'm freaking out. Please just keep walking, please.
She walks up toward you and she's like, "Do you want me to call someone for you?"
Get away, please.
Fuck. Okay, bitch. And she walks back over to. Oh, but you need to. No, I'm not going to make it double jeopardy right now. You managed to not go for that. But what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Miles and Curtis can now join you over there at the bus stop.
Miles is keeping a distance. He's the lookout. He knows. He's assuming what's going to happen, so he's looking out for other people that could notice.
It's probably good that you kept control there, Jen, because now the bus pulls up, and she kind of gives you one more like, "What the fuck?" look and hops on.
Can we at least find someone that I'm talking to Curtis, assuming he's with me?
Mm-hmm.
Can we at least find someone that at least sort of deserves it?
We want to be on the pedo hunt.
Can we find a fresh pedo or something?
Let's
Can
get
we
a
go
sex
on that?
offenders
We
list.
have access to the National Sex Offender Registry. Can we? I want to go on a pedo hunt.
I want to go on a pedo hunt.
Guys, what do you do? Because if you don't do something soon, I'm going to start making you make rolls, and then I'll be starting to do things for you.
Can I hear any?
I have an idea. I have one idea. Curtis, I want you to add to your sheet, based on what happened earlier, Animalism 2.
You have achieved the rank of Animalism level 2.
Thank you, Father.
I will see you at that sports match where we will compete physically.
I will get the silver cup. Okay, Animalism 2. Cool. Great. Do I just as at this moment, do I hear or perceive anything that like in the way that you'd like hear a party, hear a club, hear the din of socializing?
Yeah, so now you look back at that cafe and you notice that it's not closing, it's switching over to its nighttime mode, which they do serve alcohol there. So it's like one of those kind of coffee shops that's like kind of a hybrid. It kind of becomes a bar at night. There are not that many people, but there are like 3 people inside right now, including someone at the counter.
Cool. And then they're all inside?
They're inside, but you can see them through, the big refurbished building windows.
It's Ada.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's Ada.
Hey.
You got saved from being eaten. That's good.
Yeah. So speaking of that, and speaking of the gift I was just given, do I notice, is this the kind of place that maybe one of these patrons has a dog tied up outside? A service animal with them?
Hey, what do you know? Attached to a lamppost, not too far away, a couple feet down the block, you see like a beagle. It's kind of like sitting there with its tail wagging. And it's got a bandana on.
Adorable. It's wonderful beagle boy. And I see if I can I just go to Miles and I'm like, just watch and see that nobody sees this. And I I surreptitiously try to lift the leash off the post. And at the same time, I'm going to look into the dog's eyes and attempt to give it a message.
Very good. So first, in order to lift it off, I want you to give me a dexterity plus stealth roll to kind of do this without anybody seeing anything. And then I just need a simple rouse roll for you when you are communicating with the mutt. It's not a mutt, when you're communicating with the animal.
Okay. Okay, so that's a lot of success for the dex roll. The rouse was a success.
Okay, so you don't gain any more hunger, thank God.
Yeah, Jesus.
And now the animal is like kind of staring up at you with like the love and loyalty and affection that a dog can give. Mm-hmm. And it's moving directly toward you.
I was like, I just say, bark, run into the alley, and wait for me.
And then it scurries around into the alley.
And is there a reaction from inside the cafe?
Inside the cafe, people are talking and drinking. There's music going.
I walk in, if I can. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Of course you can. You walk in.
Hey, I'm sorry. Was that somebody's dog out there? Because I think it's just
this
got loose.
Woman with like an annoying hat on. I'm not going to describe it more than that. Like looks at and goes, "What?
This is a dog got loose. Am I crazy? Is somebody's dog out there?"
Watson. Oh my God. And she like runs out and she like looks at like the leash and she's like,
I don't know. I think I maybe saw, I don't know. I think I went down the alley there.
You saw he went this way?
I think so.
One thing. She kind of looks you over and is like, what's wrong with you? Because shit. Curtis Krieger and Jen Brown haven't used the blush of life.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, in their current hunger
state... But I'm thin blood, right? Don't I always, or do I not?
That's right. Jen Brown, you don't need to do that because of your thin blood nature. So Jen Brown, you might be the person that can save this right now with some sort of role.
What sort of role should I do?
What would you do to convince her to stay with you, to not fear Curtis Krieger?
Oh God. She said, "What's wrong with you?"
A manipulation plus persuasion roll would work, or subterfuge if you're really trying to trick her.
I'll do manipulation plus persuasion, and be like,
difficulty 3.
Difficulty 3.
Mm-hmm. She just looked at a guy that looks like a living corpse and realized that something's very wrong with him.
Sorry, this is my like uncle, and he's been going through chemo. It's like it just started, so it's been kind of rough on him. Sorry.
Come on, don't tell everybody that.
I'm sorry. I know
It's in remission. So
you look a little crazy, Uncle.
Well,
all right. Let's see. Manipulation plus persuasion.
Yeah.
Difficulty 3.
Actually, I'm gonna say for that, that's subterfuge. Do you have any in your subterfuge?
I do have a bit in my subterfuge.
Okay, I think that you lied. You got to use subterfuge. I'm sorry.
Okay. Damn. All right. So that's difficulty 3. 1 in the dice pool, 4 in the hunger.
You fail.
Yeah.
You didn't critical fail, did you?
No, a total failure, but not a critical failure.
Okay. She says, what did you do to my fucking dog? And then she starts pulling out her cell phone.
We didn't do anything to your dog, man. We just saw it going down the alley. Look, we can fuck off if you want. Just trying to help.
Look, lady, I'm sorry.
No, you stay right where you're at.
Sure, there it is. I think I can see.
Yeah, police.
I'd like to run. Suddenly, Miles like comes into the darkness.
Yeah,
and tackles her because I'm assuming they're like kind of in front of the window of this cafe. So I want it to be as like lightning quick as I can. I'll use the fucking death punch. I'll use whatever.
Well, here's what happens, Miles. I want a rouse check from you first.
Great. How's that work again?
Full view of a bit with
you're gonna roll just a single die and see how that goes for you. Like to see if it goes 6 or above, my friend.
That was a really good plan, though.
Okay, it says success.
Miles, the second you do that rouse check, you don't get more hungry. You feel like really empowered, the way that Adelaide told you all night that you are in control of everyone, that the mortal herd are your pawns. So I'm going to give you an option. You can do what you were saying you were about to do and just leap at her and push her out of the way of the cafe. That's fine. You can do that. Or you can try something else because you just, as you're like rushing toward her, like you're running across the street, like you feel the beast inside, you feel your body and you feel empowered to do almost anything. So things that a normal person would say that won't work. Right now, Miles knows he can do those things.
Okay. I run up, and then I sort of have this realization, and I go,
what I think my friends here are trying to say is I lost my wallet in that alleyway, and we'd really like you to come help us find it.
Okay. Roll manipulation plus your presence.
Manipulation. Where's presence?
That's your new power that you have 2 dots in.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay. Do I put if I have a hunger, I put it in, right?
You do.
Verfeln. Success. By 2.
The girl goes, oh my God, they stole your wallet too? I'm so sorry. And she like comes up to you and puts her hand on her shoulder and she's like, we've got to work together to make sure that this community is a good place to live.
You're damn straight.
Let me help you. And we've got to find his wallet. And she goes around the corner into the alley.
I'm like, I don't know how it works, but it seems to have worked.
Guys, you're salivating.
Uh-huh.
She's back
we
there.
Follow him.
You hear her scratching around back there, kicking at cans. What do you do?
I step back and sort of like,
I walk in.
Her dog is there and now, and she's like, oh, Watson, what's happening? We've got to help the man find his wallet.
Eat her, damn it!
I walk up right behind her, and I just kind of, I just go.
She turns. Okay.
I go for her wrist.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here's the thing.
Your first kill.
Well, is it going to be a kill? Do you want to feed until you're full, or do you want to pull away before you are completely sated?
I think I want to try to do the pull away.
I want to try to do the pull away.
Willpower rolls from both of you.
But that did not work out too hot last time.
And I'm rolling the total number of pips by willpower.
That's right.
Great.
I succeed.
Success.
Success.
And that's 2 successes of 4.
Okay, I'm gonna rule that this is what happened. By the way, that's amazing. Curtis suddenly goes. You can both take 1 hunger off of your hunger rating.
Just 1? Fuck.
Just 1.
Should have gobbled it up, little kitties.
And the woman is like, "What?" And she looks right at Miles and she goes, "I'm sorry, Daddy." And then she falls down onto the ground unconscious. She's been so drained that she lost consciousness.
Can I quickly, before she falls down, I produce my wallet and go, "You found it, baby. Thank you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we'll end for tonight. This has been Vampires of Pittsburgh. You guys were fantastic. I want to thank Thomas Middleditch, Ashly Burch, and Ross Bryant for making it a horrifying episode. Even though all you did was kind of walk around, go to your headquarters, and learn a couple new things about the world that we're in. Guys, thanks again so much. We are going to be back here, I hope, next Wednesday. And on Sunday, we have another stream. But right now, let's have a digital round of applause for our players this evening.
And for Jared. Thank
Great
you for
stuff, Jared, as always.
Game Master.
So good.
My pleasure, fellow kindred. So, my lord, my regnant. Guys, I'm going to hang out here for a little bit longer, talk with people on the thread. Players, you're welcome to stay, or peace, all good. And yeah, that's it. Stay inside, stay indoors. I don't think anybody's going out to party anymore. Don't go to spring break. And I guess wear your masks now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really
was worth
was.
a shot.
Yeah. I think it almost worked. It almost worked. It wasn't good.
I didn't bank on the fact that I look like a decomposing corpse.
Yep. You know how in old D&D they'd always be like, "Wait, or you didn't check the door. You didn't remember. Wait, you didn't say that you were carrying a torch, so you get a negative because it's dark." Like that's how I'm going to be about the flush of life, the blush of life. I'm going to be like, "You didn't say blush of life." Yeah.
What a little blush of life dork.
I am. I'm going to be a stickler for blush of life.
We have to stay flushed and blushed. In other words, we gotta stay pink.
You got to stay pink, baby. Hashtag get pink.
Get pink.
Have I ever killed off a character in a stream? Wow, you know what? I've only been streaming for 3 weeks, so no. But don't worry, it will happen, and it will happen as soon as possible. I like to kill characters. I mean, I don't like to, but when it happens, I feel like I'm doing a good job as a game master. Because it means the game really is a game that's challenging. Okay, so guys, they're a surprise, aren't they?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah,
totally.
I don't even. Yeah.
Now you
I
can't
don't
do
know
that
the
with
rules of the game, the powers. I wouldn't. Yeah.
That is what makes Jared so good, is that it's like such a compelling story, but he's working in all the kind of like teaching tools for us newbies along the way. It's very elegantly done.
Yeah, super elegantly done.
And I was open to them saying they wanted to do anything when they were released from Elysium tonight, and different choices would have set them up with different powers, to be honest. But you know, they still got a say in it. Like they can, you guys can always like let me know, give me input, and even make changes if you really must. But I kind of like to see it happen organically like this. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Presumably the blood that I drank. Well, we didn't kill her, at least in this game. Let's play the other one.
Right.
You die so many times.
Yeah, she got away.
She got away. Presumably the blood that I drank in the apartment, it was the wrong application of that blood, right?
So the thing with the thin blood alchemy is that I'm going to kind of like play a little fast and loose with it until you know the rules, because it feels unfair. It feels unfair to be like, see, okay, so I think an important part of being a game master is someone goes, can I do this? And if it would be cool and it's like almost the correct rule, which it was almost the correct.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it, but there'll still be rolls and stuff.
Right.
So, but I think that if Jen wants to do a little more research into what different bloods do and stuff like that, she can discover a lot of abilities.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And if you already had that dot of far reach on your sheet, you should be able to use that when you fueled up and drank your vodka.
Right.
Got drunk.
I love that you're just walking around with a tote bag full of blood booze.
It didn't work anyway, unfortunately. It really, I want you to know, it really had a chance to work, but whoever that was succeeded. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I know there might be people who are like, but that's not exactly how it works in the rule book. But it'll get closer and closer to that when it fits for the story, and when it doesn't quite fit, it doesn't bother me. I think you should look up Thin Blood Alchemy Far Reach in the book and see what the formula is. It's kind of funny.
Looks like take it back. A question just arrived. I'm leaving.
Hi, Clint. Is this universe traditional in the sense that bitten things become spooky vamps? What a great question. It sounds like maybe, so thus far I feel like we've heard from a lot of Vampire the Masquerade fans. This guy seems like maybe, and I assume guy because it says Jacob. It seems like you don't know. So in this game, in order to become a vampire, they must drain you, and then they must feed you some of their own vitae. And that is the exact same way you became a vampire in Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles. The first and best, baby. The first vampire story ever written. Yeah. If Curtis gets gangrel... Oh, what was that? If Curtis gets gangrel fur or claws from Frenzy, are they permanent? Or will it make #get pink useless?
It's catching on.
So yeah, Curtis's clan bane as a gangrel is that if he frenzies, he gets an animalistic trait. I don't think you frenzied tonight. You managed to keep your cool the whole time. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it probably will make get pink useless if he's walking around with yellow wolf eyes or. But I don't know how much
would be permanent. Ooh.
It would not be permanent. It would not be permanent. Those traits, according to the book, go away after a while. But I mean, with this group, it probably will end up playing some sort of scene where you're trying to hide your pointed ears under the unfortunate hat that woman was wearing. I don't know.
Yeah, my favorite characters: Adelaide Ross, annoying hat person.
Yeah, Adelaide got all sexy with Miles.
Yeah,
she really did.
Very much so. Very hot scene.
Unexpected.
I also love that the taste spectrum of blood goes from mud to fried chicken with a central point of broth.
Yeah, you can tell my diet is not great. Yeah, I really loved tonight's game.
All right.
I think that's it. We did it.
I hope everybody else enjoyed it too. For the folks who are just joining us for the first time, you can see episodes 1 and 2 on the YouTube channel. And thanks again.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you when the sun sets again, my friends.
Yes.